Hey, what's up, guys? Happy 4th of July to every single one of you. And if my sister Brittany, if you're watching this, then happy birthday to you as well. Um, today's 4th of July. Supposed to be going to my sister's house for her birthday. I am going to that, but really quick, I'm gonna be filming my review for Independence Day. Um, you know, I thought it'd be an appropriate time, especially today being 4th of July, and you know, I just this is like my gift to you guys for you know 4th of July, and also being at the 14th episode of this series that I've done. I'm really surprised I was able to get up to this mile point this fast. Um, but I really do thank every single one of you who have brought the views up for me to think about doing another movie or another franchise, and I really thank all of you. But anyways, let's get on to the actual review of Independence Day. This was made on a budget of $75 million and made over $300 million in the domestic box office. Worldwide, it made over $810 million. And this was directed by Roland Emmerich, who you guys may remember more famously for the director Godzilla 98. Sorry about that little cut there. Um, but yeah, and this was released on surprisingly July 3rd of 1996, and not on July 4th, but usually most people would go and see it on July 4th. Um, it was actually advertised during the Super Bowl, uh, which was during July. Um, so yeah. So the plot is that strange phenomena surface around the globe. The skies ignite. Terror races through the world's major cities. As these extraordinary events unfold, it becomes increasingly clear that a force of incredible magnitude has arrived. Its missing total, or its mission, total annihilation of the over the 4th of July weekend. The last hope to stop the destruction is an unlikely group of people united by fate and imaginable circumstances. Um, I believe most people have seen this film. Um, they may not have thought it is a good movie or it's just straight up average, but they most amount of people have seen this film, and um, most people watch this around 4th of July, and that's what I did. For a certain amount of my life, I watched this around 4th of July. And, as a 6 year old who didn't really understand, characters or plot or, special effects or anything, I loved it just because, it's a movie and I liked it. um, but now that I see it, I can see that I'm liking it less and less, but I still really enjoy watching this, especially around the 4th of July. Um, so yeah, let's talk about the cast. So we got Will Smith as Captain Stephen Hiller. Will Smith was really more well known as for his role in The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and the previous year had starred in Bad Boys with Michael Bay. But at this point in his career, he wasn't a big star as he is nowadays, or as he would become. I would guess after this film, and I think he really does a great performance in this film, as I believe he has a girlfriend, and I believe he has a child. I am not particularly sure. Um, and he has my favorite scene of all time. He is like a part of, which I'll get to later. Jeff Goldblum as David Leverson. This was literally just like, hey, Jurassic Park was a success and he was in it. Let's get him in another science like sci-fi suspense film, and I really think like it's clearly obvious that they're trying to compete with Jurassic Park in that sort of sense. and I honestly think he does a way better performance in Jurassic Park than in Independence Day. Um, and it's ironic that both of the sequels after this, their respective initial starts, both sucked. But I'll get to that when I review. If I ever try to review Independence Day Resurgence, or when I get to the Jurassic Park series. Bill Pullman as President Thomas J. Whitmore. Um, he was a really good. He was a really good performance, and he has my second favorite scene in the film, which I will talk about later as well. Uh, Vicky A. Fox, I think that's how you say it, or Vivica A. Fox, plays as Jasmine Dubrow, um, and I believe she is the girlfriend of um, Will Smith's character. I don't really remember what she brought to the film, so I can't really give my honest opinion about that. Judd Hirschich as Julius Leverson, uh, and also as Jeff Goldblum's dad in the film, not his actual dad. Um, he was kind of funny in the film because he's kind of portrayed as this recluse guy, and then once he sees like all the aliens, he kind of restores his confidence a bit. And the notorious Randy Quaid as Russell Casey. He is basically just a straight up nutcase. Um, I mean, yeah, he is now, but like even in this film, I think this was a predecessor to what he would become today. But if you want to learn more about that, you can look up videos about him. I'm not talking about Randy Quaid. I'm talking about Independence Day. Um, and obviously, yes, the famous scene where he sacrifices himself for the good of mankind. And obviously the line, "Oh boys, I'm back," and then takes the noble sacrifice to save all of humanity. Um, so yeah, wow, I've just basically just talked about like over half of my notes, and like I'm not even 10 minutes into the film, or 10 minutes into this review. Um, but yeah, I'm honestly trying to think about what I was like I should talk about besides the fun facts, the composer, my rating, and then my favorite scenes. Because I kind of want to. I don't want to make this too short. Like the time that I'm going for at least is 15 minutes, and I'm already only at 8. So, um, well, actually, I just thought about it. So this I believe it won the Oscar for special effects, and for me, honestly, most of them are really good. There's only like one or two shots that are pretty inconsistent with the rest of the film. But as of like the miniatures of like buildings exploding and like the aliens and the ships, I think they are really, really impressive. Um, I believe they might have used CGI for the ships. I don't know if they used like motion control as they used in like the 70s and 80s for like the Star Wars and Star Trek films, which I will be getting to at some point. Um, but it's they still look great. I haven't gotten the 4K yet. I only have the 20th anniversary Blu-ray that came out in like 2016. Yes. Um, which has two Blu-ray discs, which has both the theatrical cut and the extended version, which I will go into a bit. Um, but yeah, like the visual effects for the ships, the miniature explosions, like the White House, looked fantastic. The only shot that I can really remember that I thought was bad was when the dog jumped from the fire in the tunnel, and the whole tunnel scene as of itself was not a very good shot, and like the dog jumping towards the camera and the fire going past, I think it's just the worst shot of the whole film. But that's really only one scene. Um, And like I said, most of the other visual effects I think are really good. Um, oh yeah, and I just thought about it. Data from Star Trek: The Next Generation makes a cameo in this film. Yes, Brent Spiner, who played Data in Next Generation in the Next Generation films, and obviously in a couple episodes in Star Trek Picard, has a little cameo in this film as a scientist. And this came out in '96, and not only the series ended in '94, the first Generations came out in '94, and then the same year as Independence Day, Star Trek First Contact came out in 1996 as well. So Brent Spiner had a maybe that's why he only had a cameo role in this, because like he wanted to be in the film, but obviously he can't, you know, jump ship from being as Data in the Star Trek film. Um, but yeah. So anyways, so let's get on to the fun facts, which I have two of for this video. Um, so fun fact number one is that the computer virus that saved the day is a reference to War of the Worlds. So I don't really know about this much. This fun fact. There goes the Blu-ray. I don't know really much about this fun fact than um I know more about the next fun fact than this. But apparently the conveyor virus in the film that saves the whole universe, well, the whole planet of Earth, is also the same one in is a reference to War of the Worlds. Um, I'm not exactly sure on that because I haven't seen War of the Worlds yet, but or I haven't read the book and I haven't seen any of the film versions. Um, but yeah, apparently that's true. And fun fact number two, and I know this is true. So Jeff Goldblum says must go faster in Independence Day like he did in Jurassic Park. So yeah, obviously in Jurassic Park, they they're driving away from the T Rex, and he says must go faster. Um, like he says in this film. Um, I don't exactly remember when he says it, but I know at some point in the film he does say that, and um, it's also a reference to Jurassic Park. So really quickly before I get on to my rating of the film, I want to really discuss the composer for this film. He is David Arnold, and I think he does a very good score for this film. Um, if your Bond fans are watching this right now, you guys may remember that David Arnold composed some of the latter half of the Pierce Brosnan James Bond films. I believe starting with Tomorrow Never Dies, because in GoldenEye, um, the composer was Eric Serra. That's what it was. And then starting with Tomorrow Never Dies, and I believe ending with I think actually ending with like Casino Royale or Quantum of Solace. David Arnold took the reins of being composer for the next few batch of films, starting with Tomorrow Never Dies, and like I said, ending I believe with Casino Royale or Quantum of Solace. Um, but yeah, so um, like I said earlier, I don't like it as much as like if you talk to me like when I was 6 and asked me what I think about Independence Day, I would probably say it was like a 9 out of 10. Um, but now since I got a little bit more, knowledge on films, and I have certainly liked a lot more films ever since then. My ranking for this film has slowly bumped down a bit, but I still really like this film, so I'm gonna give this film a 7 out of 10. Like I said, a very enjoyable film, but not as enjoyable as when I saw it first as a little kid. And, like I said, having a more grasp or knowledge on film and having a larger, more collection than what I had before, which was before I had about like 20 Blu-rays, and now I have just over like 130. So you could see that I have expanded my movie knowledge a bit. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Happy 4th of July to all of you. And like I said, Brittany, if you're watching this, happy birthday to you. And, have a fantastic 4th of July. Live long and prosper. Out.